Well, not when you did your interview, but I guess I was asking what year you believe your sighting was.
Well, mine was 84.
Okay.
That's all I...
You remember that?
I think it's probably about May 84.
Mm-hmm. And then Jack Hanna came to interview you a lot more recently.
Yes.
Yeah. And you said, so anyway, we have your sighting, and then you had there was a sighting of your neighbor with the tiger with the 3 cubs, and you said there was a few other sightings? Or?
Yes, there was a different person who saw one. They thought he saw one at what we call the Cockatoo Road, where it comes out onto the sealed road behind our old original road. Went that way. It's not the way you came in. And where that comes out, there was
within
a sighting.
a few kilometers from Lorena.
That's about 12 and a half.
Okay.
To the end of that.
Yeah, not too far from here.
You can't go that way.
Yeah.
You can walk.
Yeah.
But there's a boom gate across the road.
I see. Yeah. And what year would have that been? That was a few years after your sighting, or was it more recent?
No, that was a couple of years, probably about 2 years after my sighting. That was up there. Yeah, and there was a fellow used to live here up this side of the valley. There's another road you can get up. You know, races to about 400 metres.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shoulder up there, and there's a place up there that there was a sighting there, and that sort of follows this bit of a pathway from here next door, and then back into bush and up through and out of the valley, and end up where that road comes out onto the sealed road.
And was that also in the mid 1980s?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was the last sightings I've heard of, apart from some from Mole Creek way. And
what have you heard about the Mole Creek?
You'd have to ask Doug, because he's got it all down. But there's more sightings than what you think. You know, they don't always become public, but these were national parks people, so.
National parks people claimed they'd seen a tiger?
Mm.
What year?
So that's only, a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago? Was it in a national park, or was it elsewhere?
It would be up there in the national park. It's all national park back, well, you used to be able to drive right up to Wolfram Mine, and that's inside the national park now, so. So
do you remember what the basis of their sighting was? Did they?
No, I think that was at night, driving across the road in front of them.
And what, do you know roughly what time frame we're talking about? Was that 1980s again, or is it more recent?
This is only a couple of years.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I did hear there was a sighting of some fellows that were hunting, night lighting, and supposedly saw a tiger, and they reported that one to Nick Mooney. I think that was about 4 or 5 years ago. But they apparently saw a wallaby run across the road, and then here came the tiger just right after it.
Oh.
But that was it.
Yeah. No, I believe that they're possibly still around. Over in the northeast, they seem to have quite a few people with sightings over there.
Yes, I've been talking to some people over there. But again, it's one, like you just mentioned, a lot of the locals, they're not going to go to the newspaper or to the government.
No, because people think you're pretty crazy, or and you could, there's people who could claim things, say, in a forest that was going to be logged, and then they wouldn't touch it. You'd try and, if you're against forestry, logging and stuff like that, you could make up stories, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for telling us about your sighting. That's right close to where we're at right now, so that's pretty amazing. And then the one with the cubs, that's very interesting indeed. So if there were 3 cubs, so there must have been breeding, and maybe they're still about.
Yeah, I hope so.
A mystery.
Yeah.
The ultimate Tasmanian mystery.
If you can get a photo of one, it's worth a lot of money.
Okay, Howard, thanks very much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Okay. Well, I'll just have a